Welcome back to Forgotten Dream Painters, where we rediscover artists who shaped the inner landscapes of art history, but are often left in the shadows. Today, we step into the mysterious world of Gaganendranath Tagore. What happens when tradition meets imagination and turns into dreams? This is the story of Gaganendranath Tagore, a forgotten pioneer of Indian modern art. Born in 1867 at Jorasanko, Kolkata, he was born into the legendary Tagore family of Bengal in India. Gaganendranath grew up surrounded by literature, philosophy, and art. But unlike his famous uncle, Rabindranath, who won the Nobel Prize in Literature, Gaganendranath chose a different path, painting visions that bent reality itself. He had a fondness for birds, especially crows. Every morning he would feed them, and this daily ritual found its way into his art, inspiring the many bird paintings we see in his work. Around 1906, he turned to Japanese brush techniques, inspired by artists like Taika Yokoyama. This gave his lines a new grace and rhythm, and he used this technique in his illustrations for Rabindranath's autobiography, Jeevan Smriti. At the same time, he played a role in the Bengal School of Art, a movement that stood against colonial influence. Many artists across the country abandoned traditional Indian forms and moved towards creating art that was more suitable for the British sensibilities. The ideology of the Bengal School of Art was of nationalism and to go against the colonial rule and bring in the Swadesi touch in the art. Inspired by Ajanta murals and Indian traditions, it brought back a strong sense of identity to Indian art. Though short-lived, this movement gave Indian artists the courage to create in their own voice, and it brought back pride in India's heritage. Between 1910 and 1921, Gaganendranath sketched the Himalayas and the scene of the daily Indian life. These works appeared in Abadut Lok, Biru Pistra, and Naya Hulot. Interestingly, he never actually traveled to the Himalayas. His mountain landscapes came entirely from imagination and the stories of others, which is one of the reasons why he belongs in the series of Forgotten Dream Painters, as he was able to paint worlds based off the stories he had heard from others. By the 1920s, he shifted towards Cubism and European modernism, reshaping them into something entirely his own.
Many of us, we don't know what was the main engagement point with the artwork and Gaganendranath. Because he was not bothering about market, he was nothing to do with this people's demand or supply, this and that, nothing was there. It was just a pure passion. So whatever he thought, he developed it, and he was self-taught. But when his son died in 1905, from that point Gaganendranath started working seriously to forget that pain. Probably this is one reason, we are not sure, but still this could be one reason that many of the Gaganendranath painting and caricature. It has that satire mood. But Gagan Thakur was a completely mysterious and imaginative space he belongs to, actually, used to rather. I mean,
Even Rabindranath Tagore praised his daring experiments, writing in 1938, "What profoundly attracted me was the uniqueness of his creation, his marvelous experiments in color, and the mysterious depth of his imagination." At the same time, Gagagendranath became known for his biting caricatures. Satirical, humorous, yet very deeply meaningful. Through fantasy and exaggeration, he exposed the absurdities of colonial society and the elite. He was the harbinger of modernism in India and helped many young artists find their voice. But unlike others, Gaganendranath never sought disciples, nor did he try to establish a fixed style. He was always searching, always experimenting. Tragically, in the last 9 years of his life, he lost both his ability to paint and his power of speech. The dreams that once found wings in works like Dreamland remain locked within his brilliant mind.
This painting, painted a few days before the blow fell, is significantly called the death of an artist. After 10 years spent in dumb agony, death came in 1938 at the age of 71.
His legacy lives on as a pioneer who blended tradition with modernism, imagination with critique, and Indian roots with a global vision. Forgotten by many, Gaganendranath Tagore reminds us that modernism in India wasn't borrowed, it was imagined, created, and dreamt into being. In the next episode, we'll step into the world of Amrita Shergill, where raw emotion meets vibrant colors. Her paintings depicted clear cultural depth, infused with Indian and Western touch.